Ever been told to just be mature when you're upset? Like emotional maturity means acting like a robot with no feelings. Someone disappoints you, you get frustrated, and suddenly you're the problem for reacting at all. Society loves to preach about emotional maturity, but what it actually pushes is emotional suppression. Keep your feelings in check. Don't make people uncomfortable. Don't be too sensitive. Don't be dramatic. But here's the thing, feeling things doesn't make you immature. Denying them does. Think about how weird this is. If someone gets visibly angry, they're told to grow up. If they cry, they need to toughen up. If they express disappointment, they should stop overreacting. But what are they supposed to do? Shut it all down, pretend they don't care. That's not emotional maturity, that's just avoidance with a fancy label. And the worst part, people actually wear this like a badge of honor. Like being unbothered and emotionally numb is proof of strength. But stuffing your feelings down doesn't make them go away. It just makes them come out in sneakier, more destructive ways. So today, we're breaking down the difference between emotional maturity and emotional suppression, and why ignoring your feelings isn't the flex people think it is. So what does real emotional maturity actually look like? What emotional maturity actually means? Emotional maturity isn't about pretending to be unbothered by life. It's about understanding your emotions, managing them effectively, and expressing them in a way that doesn't leave a trail of destruction. Picture this. Two people have a rough day at work. One calmly tells a friend, "Honestly, today was frustrating. My boss dumped a last-minute project on me and I barely had time to finish." They vent, process the frustration, maybe even laugh about it, and move on. The other person? They grit their teeth, swallow their frustration and say, "It's fine, whatever." Later, they snap at their roommate for leaving a dish in the sink. That's the difference. Emotional maturity doesn't mean never feeling angry, sad, or hurt. It means recognizing those feelings without letting them hijack your actions. It's self-awareness, knowing when something upsets you and why. It's emotional regulation, expressing those emotions in a healthy way, not stuffing them down until they explode. And it's resilience, allowing yourself to feel, process, and move forward instead of getting stuck. The real flex isn't bottling up your emotions to look strong. It's handling them with balance. It's saying, "I'm upset, but I don't need to lash out." It's knowing that feelings aren't the enemy. It's how we respond to them that matters. Now here's where people get it twisted, thinking maturity means just don't feel anything. That's not maturity, that's suppression. The trap of emotional suppression. Emotional suppression isn't control, it's avoidance. It's shoving your feelings into a box, locking it up and pretending it doesn't exist until the box bursts open at the worst possible moment. Think of a pressure cooker. When you suppress emotions, it's like sealing the lid tight and turning up the heat. You might think you're keeping everything contained, but pressure doesn't just disappear, it builds. Eventually, that steam has to go somewhere, and when it does, it's usually messy. Picture this. Someone has a rough day. Maybe their boss criticizes them unfairly. Maybe they get ignored in a group chat. Maybe they're just drained. Instead of acknowledging their frustration, they plaster on a smile and say, "I'm fine." They keep saying it. Even when their shoulders are tense, their responses get shorter and their patience wears thin. Then, later that night, they lose it over something tiny, like their partner forgetting to take out the trash. That outburst, it wasn't about the trash. It was all the feelings they refused to deal with earlier, now boiling over at the smallest trigger. Because suppressed emotions don't disappear, they just find sneakier ways to come out. Maybe through passive-aggressive comments, unexplained mood swings, or that weird, heavy exhaustion that lingers even after a full night's sleep. So if bottling up emotions isn't the answer, How do you handle feelings without being overwhelmed? How to process emotions without overreacting. Emotional maturity isn't about pushing feelings away, it's about processing them in a way that keeps you in control. Instead of reacting on impulse, it's about taking a step back, acknowledging what you're feeling, and deciding how to handle it. Think of emotions like emails. You don't have to reply to everyone immediately. Some need thoughtful responses, and some don't need a response at all. If you fire off a reply the second you get a frustrating email, you might say something you regret. But if you pause, read it carefully, and decide how or if you want to respond, you stay in control. That's how emotional maturity works. First, pause before reacting. Give yourself a moment to process before snapping or shutting down. Then name the emotion. Is it anger? Frustration? Disappointment? Naming it helps you understand it. Next, identify the trigger. Did something specific set you off? Or is this stress from somewhere else? Separating the real issue from surface reactions makes a huge difference. Want to go deeper? Try journaling. Writing out your emotions gives them a place to go instead of staying stuck in your head. Mindfulness exercises work too. Breathing techniques or body scans help you stay present instead of spiraling into reaction mode. The goal isn't to ignore emotions, but to manage them. And that means making space for them without letting them take over. But here's the tricky part. Sometimes we think we're managing emotions when we're really just avoiding them. Signs you're suppressing, not managing your emotions. Signs of emotional suppression aren't always obvious. It's not just about forcing yourself to stay strong. Sometimes it looks like emotional numbness, going through life feeling disconnected, like nothing really affects you. Other times it's over-apologizing, brushing off your own feelings and constantly saying, "It's not a big deal," when deep down it kind of is. Then there are the outbursts, the moments when something tiny sets you off. Ever had a meltdown over a missing sock? Yeah, that wasn't about the sock. That was the emotional pressure you've been bottling up, finally finding a way out through the path of least resistance. Suppressed emotions don't just sit quietly in the background. They build up as chronic stress, tension in your body, and that weird feeling like something is off, but you can't put your finger on it. Maybe you get headaches, feel constantly exhausted, or struggle to concentrate, but you don't connect it to your emotions because technically you're fine. At least that's what you keep telling yourself. The truth is, your emotions will come out one way or another, whether through burnout, random irritation, or that unexpected wave of sadness you can't explain. Suppression isn't solving anything, it's just delaying the inevitable. So how do you shift from suppressing emotions to actually dealing with them in a healthy way? Building real emotional maturity. Emotional growth starts with one simple shift. Stop labeling emotions as good or bad. Anger isn't bad. Sadness isn't bad. Even fear has a purpose. Emotions are just signals, like notifications from your brain. The real question is, what are they trying to tell you? The key is to accept emotions without judgment. Instead of thinking, "I shouldn't feel this way," try, "I feel this way. Now, what do I want to do about it?" That shift alone can change everything. Want to build emotional strength? Talk openly with trusted people. Expressing emotions out loud helps process them, and the right people will listen without making you feel weak for feeling things. Set emotional boundaries. If certain people drain you or dismiss your feelings, it's okay to limit how much space they take in your life. Practice mindfulness, whether it's deep breathing, meditation, or just taking a moment to pause and check in with yourself. Mindfulness keeps emotions from running the show. The goal isn't to fix emotions, it's to understand them, let them come, let them go, Let them teach you something about yourself. Because real strength isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about facing them, understanding them, and choosing how they shape you. So the next time someone says, just be mature, you'll know. Maturity isn't about shutting down. It's about showing up for yourself. Emotional maturity was never about being emotionless. It was never about keeping a straight face, pushing everything down, and pretending you're unbothered. That's not strength. That's suppression in disguise. Real maturity is knowing that emotions are part of the human experience. They show up whether you like it or not. The real question is, what do you do with them? Do you process them, understand them, and move forward? Or do you shove them into a mental storage unit, hoping they won't come crashing down later? Maturity isn't the absence of emotion. It's the wisdom to handle emotions without letting them control you. It's knowing when to pause instead of react, when to speak instead of stay silent, when to sit with a feeling instead of running from it. Because emotions don't make you weak, they make you human. And learning how to deal with them in a healthy way, that's what makes you strong. So ask yourself this: are you managing your emotions or just avoiding them? Stay blessed.